Welcome back to the channel. Rarest Coins. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video. Today, we're going to dive into a fascinating piece of American history, the 1971 Lincoln penny. You might think it's just a common coin you find in your pocket change, but trust me, it's not as ordinary as it seems. Stick around, because you might just have one of these pennies worth a lot of money hiding in your collection or even in your wallet. So, what makes the 1971 Lincoln penny so special? Let's find out. To understand why the 1971 Lincoln penny can be worth a lot of money, we first need to understand the context behind its creation. In 1971, the United States was going through significant economic changes. The country had recently transitioned off the gold standard, and the mint was trying to keep up with the growing demand for coins in circulation. For the first time since the 1930s, the U.S. Mint began using a new production method, which would later affect the overall quality and rarity of certain coins, including the 1971 penny. Rarest coins. That means not all 1971 pennies are created equal. Some are much rarer than others, and understanding the factors that make them valuable can help you determine if you've got a hidden treasure. Now, most 1971 pennies are made from a copper-plated zinc composition, but here's where things get interesting. While the vast majority of these coins are worth just 1 cent, some of them have unique features that make them exceptionally valuable to collectors. Rarest coins. Let's talk about the most important factor, error coins. One of the main reasons a 1971 Lincoln penny could be worth a lot of money is because of error coins. These are coins that were struck incorrectly during the minting process. A well-known error from 1971 is the doubled die obverse. As you can see, this coin has doubling on the inscriptions, especially on the word liberty and the motto "In God We Trust." These errors occur when the coin is struck multiple times by the die, which causes the lettering to appear doubled. These types of errors are highly sought after by collectors, and they can make your penny worth hundreds, even thousands, of dollars, depending on the severity of the doubling and the condition of the coin. Coins with double die errors are one of the most well-known types of coin errors, and the 1971 penny is one of the key dates where these can be found. So, if you've got a 1971 penny with noticeable doubling, you may have a coin worth a lot more than 1 cent. In addition to the double die obverse, there are other error types that can make your 1971 penny worth a pretty penny. For example, there's something known as the wide AM variety. Most 1971 pennies have the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse of the coin spaced close together. But some coins have them spaced further apart. This is known as the wide AM error. These coins are rarer and can fetch a premium price if they're in good condition. Rarest coins. Here's a side-by-side comparison of the close AM versus the wide AM variety. If you look closely, you can see that the space between the A and M is much wider on the wide AM penny. This error, though subtle, can make a 1971 penny worth up to several $100s. Alright, so how can you tell if your 1971 penny? Welcome back to the channel. Rarest coins. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future content. Today, we're diving into a coin that might be sitting right under your nose, the 1976 Lincoln penny. You might be thinking, it's just another penny, right? Well, not exactly. Some of these coins are worth way more than just 1 cent. So stick with me as we explore why the 1976 Lincoln penny could be worth a lot of money. Rarest coins. Whether you've got a stack of them sitting in your change jar or you've inherited a collection from a grandparent, this coin could hold a hidden value that you wouldn't expect. Let's break down everything you need to know about the 1976 Lincoln penny and why it's much more valuable than its face value. Before we jump into what makes the 1976 Lincoln penny special, let's first take a quick look at the history behind this coin. The year 1976 was significant not just for the Lincoln penny, but for the entire United States. It marked the 200th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, the bicentennial year. In honor of this milestone, the U.S. Mint introduced special coin designs for the quarter, half dollar, and dollar coins. However, the Lincoln penny design remained unchanged. But despite the lack of a new design for the penny, there were still some things going on behind the scenes that would eventually affect the value of certain 1976 pennies. So, what should you be looking for? Alright, so let's start with the basics. The 1976 Lincoln penny is composed of copper-plated zinc, the standard metal used for pennies from 1962 onward. Most of these coins, in average condition, are only worth face value, that's 1 cent. However, there are certain features, varieties, and error coins that can significantly increase the value of the 1976 Lincoln penny. Like most pennies produced from 1959 to 2008, the design features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, and the reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial. But while this is the standard design, certain varieties or errors could make your 1976 penny much more valuable. Error coins are one of the main reasons a 1976 penny could be worth more than you think. Over the years, the U.S. Mint has made mistakes, and those mistakes can lead to some highly valuable coins. One of the most common error types found on the 1976 Lincoln penny is the double die obverse error. This is a striking issue where the coin was stamped multiple times, causing the lettering and details to appear doubled. If you find a 1976 penny with this kind of doubling, especially on the word liberty, or in God we trust, then you've got something worth holding on to. As you can see here, the doubling is noticeable in the word liberty. This is a key indicator that it's a double die obverse. Now, these types of error coins, depending on their condition, can range from a few $100s to several thousand in the case of an especially rare or well-preserved example. Rarest coins, remember, the more noticeable the doubling and the better the overall condition of the coin, the higher its value. So, if you come across a 1976 penny with visible doubling, don't just toss it in your spare change jar. In addition to the double die obverse, there are other error types to be on the lookout for. For example, there is the repunched mint mark or RPM error. This happens when the mint mark, which indicate. Welcome back to the channel, Rarest Coins. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. Today, we're going to talk about a penny you might have overlooked, the 1960 Lincoln penny. This coin might seem like just another piece of pocket change, but in reality, it could be worth a lot of money. Stick around to find out why the 1960 Lincoln penny is more valuable than most people realize. By the end of this video, you'll know how to spot a valuable 1960 penny, how much it could be worth, and why certain versions are worth so much more than others. So let's get into it. Before we jump into why the 1960 penny could be worth a lot of money, let's take a quick look at its history. The 1960 penny was minted in Denver, Colorado, and the D mint mark is found on the reverse of the coin, just under the date. While this coin is often seen as a typical penny, the real value lies in a specific error that occurred in its production. Produced during a time when the U.S. Mint was producing billions of coins for circulation, the 1960 penny was made as part of a larger effort to supply the growing demand for smaller denominations. The coin features the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design that would last until 2008. Rarest coins. So, what makes the 1960 penny different from all the other Lincoln pennies that were produced around the same time? Well, the key to its value lies in a specific minting error. You see, in 1960, the U.S. Mint was going through a transition in its coin production. This transition involved changes to the design of the penny, particularly in the way the date and mint mark were struck. Two different types of 1960 pennies were produced, the small date and the large date. The 1960 small date was produced in Philadelphia, while the 1960 large date was made in both Philadelphia and Denver. While these two types may look almost identical to the naked eye, one of them is far rarer and more valuable than the other. Rarest coins. Let's break down the difference. On the 1960 penny, the large date variety shows the numbers of the date being more widely spaced apart, and the top of the numbers being thicker. On the other hand, the small date variety has the numbers much closer together, and the top of the digits are thinner. This difference is subtle, but it's important when it comes to valuing the coin. Now, most 1960D pennies are the large date variety, but if you find a small date version, you've got a rare coin on your hands. That's right, the 1960D small date penny is incredibly rare. While the large date version is still relatively common, the small date is considered a variety error, and that's what makes it so valuable. Rarest coins. So, how do you spot the difference between the 1960D large date and the small date? First, take a close look at the numbers and the date. If the 6 and 0 are noticeably thinner and closer together, you may have a small date variety. Here's a quick comparison. On the large date, you can see that the 6 is more rounded and the 0 is wider apart from the 6. The small date, on the other hand, has a much smaller, thinner 6 and the 0 is much closer to the 6. Pay attention to these details when you're checking your coins. Sometimes, this can be difficult to spot without a magnifying glass, so I recommend getting a loupe if you're really serious about your coin hunting. But once you learn what to look for, you'll be able to ID. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of our valuable coin hunting tips and tricks. Rarest coins. Today, we're diving into a coin that you might have in your pocket right now, the 1987 Lincoln penny. It might seem like just another penny, but some of these coins could be worth far more than their face value. Stick around as we explore why the 1987 Lincoln penny might be worth a lot more than you think. Rarest coins. By the end of this video, you'll know what to look for when you're checking your 1987 pennies, how much they could be worth, and what makes this particular year of Lincoln pennies stand out. Let's get started. First, let's quickly review the history behind the 1987 Lincoln penny. The 1987 penny is part of the ongoing series of Lincoln memorial cents that began in 1959 and continued until 2008, when the design was replaced with the Union Shield reverse. On the front, you've got the well-known portrait of Abraham Lincoln, and on the back, the Lincoln Memorial, a design that was in circulation for almost 50 years. But what sets the 1987 penny apart from others in the same series? Well, there are a few factors that could potentially increase its value, and some rare varieties and errors that could be worth a lot more than just 1 cent. Let's dive into those. Most 1987 Lincoln pennies you come across in your pocket change or from your coin jar are going to be standard issue pennies. In other words, they're not likely to be worth anything more than 1 cent unless they have an error or are in mint condition. However, the key to finding a valuable 1987 penny lies in spotting rare varieties, minting errors, and uncirculated specimens. While 1987 pennies in general aren't extremely rare, there are certain varieties that could make them more valuable. First off, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value. If you have a 1987 penny that's in uncirculated condition, it could be worth more than 1 cent. These coins are far less common than those that have been through years of circulation, so if your 1987 penny looks brand new, that's a good sign that it could be worth more. Now, let's talk about error coins. If you have a 1987 penny with a minting mistake, you could be holding onto a coin that's worth a lot more than face value. The US Mint doesn't always get it right, and when they make a mistake during the coin's production, it can turn into a valuable error. Rarest coins. There are several error types that could make a 1987 penny valuable, but the most common ones you want to watch out for are double die obverse, off-center strikes, and repunched mint marks. Let's break these down one by one. First, let's look at the double die obverse error. This happens when a coin is struck more than once during its production, which causes the image on the obverse, the front, of the coin to appear doubled. The most noticeable areas to check are the letters in Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date itself. Rarest coins. If you find a 1987 penny with a clear doubling effect on the letters, especially on Liberty or In God We Trust, you may have a rare double die error. These coins can be worth anywhere from $20 to $500, depending on the severity of the doubling and the coin's overall condition. Next up, we have the off-center strike error. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing it to be struck off-center. This is one of the most eye-catching errors because the coin. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our coin hunting tips, tricks, and valuable insights. Rarest coins. Today, we're going to dive deep into a coin that's often overlooked, the 1976 Lincoln penny. You might have one of these in your pocket or your coin jar, and trust me, it could be worth a lot more than you think. Stick with me as we explore why the 1976 Lincoln penny could be hiding some hidden treasure. By the end of this video, you'll know what makes this coin special, how to identify rare varieties, and just how much your 1976 Lincoln penny might actually be worth. So, let's get started. Before we talk about the potential value of the 1976 Lincoln penny, let's first take a quick trip back in time. The 1976 Lincoln penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial series, which ran from 1959 until 2008. On the front, we have the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, and on the back, the iconic Lincoln Memorial design. Now, the 1976 penny was significant for a few reasons. The most obvious reason is that 1976 marked the United States bicentennial, the 200th anniversary of the nation's founding. While the penny didn't get a redesign like the bicentennial quarter or half dollar, it was still part of a major year in U.S. history. But what makes the 1976 penny particularly interesting is a rare variety that could make it worth far more than just 1 cent. Let's talk about the basics first. The 1976 Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, as indicated by the D mint mark just below the date. In fact, this is one of the most common pennies you'll find from that year. But don't be fooled, even common coins can sometimes hold a hidden value. $1 million rarest coins. Most 1976 pennies are just regular, circulating coins. In average condition, they're worth, well, 1 cent. However, the real value lies in the rarer 1976 pennies, specifically those with unique characteristics or errors. That's where the fun begins. So, let's look at what to watch for when searching for those rare finds. When it comes to valuable 1976 pennies, there are a few key things to look out for: high-grade uncirculated coins, double die errors, and minting mistakes such as off-center strikes or repunched mint marks. Let's break these down and see why these specific varieties can increase the value of your coin. First off, condition is crucial. Coins in higher grades, particularly those that are uncirculated, can be worth significantly more than those that have been heavily worn through circulation. The 1976 penny was minted in large numbers, but finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is far rarer. Rarest coins. If you find a 1976 penny that looks as if it just came out of the mint, you're holding on to something valuable. High-grade examples, graded MS-65 or higher by a professional service like PCGS or NGC, can be worth anywhere from $1 to $5, or more, depending on demand and the quality of the coin. Rarest coins. One of the most sought-after varieties is the 1976 double die obverse (DDO) penny. What does this mean? Well, a double die error occurs when the coin is struck more than once, causing the details on the obverse to appear doubled. The most noticeable places to check for doubling are the date and the words Liberty and I in God We Trust. If you notice that any of these details are doubled, particularly in the lettering, you've got yourself a valuable error coin. Welcome back to the channel. If you're into coin collecting or coin hunting, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss any of our valuable tips, coin finds, and expert advice. Rarest coins. Today, we're talking about a coin you probably wouldn't think much of, the 1991 Lincoln penny. You might have one of these coins sitting in your pocket right now, but did you know that it could be worth a lot more than just 1 cent? Stick around as we dive into the world of the 1991 Lincoln penny and explore how it can be worth big bucks. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the 1991 Lincoln penny is so important in the coin world, what errors and varieties can increase its value, and just how much your 1991 penny could be worth. So, let's get started. Rarest coins. before we get into the value of the 1991 Lincoln penny, let's quickly talk about its history. The 1991 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running Lincoln Memorial series, which ran from 1959 until 2008. On the front side of the penny, you'll see the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, and on the back, the classic Lincoln Memorial design. Now, the 1991 penny wasn't particularly notable in terms of major design changes or commemorations. But that doesn't mean it's not worth looking closely at, because, as we'll see, there are some rare varieties and errors that can make this penny more valuable than you'd expect. Rarest coins. So, why could your 1991 penny be worth more than face value? Well, the key to this lies in rare varieties and errors that happen during the minting process. And as with most coins, condition is one of the biggest factors in determining its value. But when we talk about the 1991 penny, it's not just about condition. It's about finding certain rare and sought-after errors. These could be anything from doubling in the design to more significant minting mistakes. So, let's break down what makes these pennies so valuable. Let's start with the basics. The 1991 penny was minted in Denver, as indicated by the D mint mark just below the date. Most of the 1991 pennies you come across are your typical, run-of-the-mill, circulation coins, meaning they're worth just 1 cent each. However, there are some rare varieties and errors you'll want to keep an eye out for that could make this coin much more valuable. When it comes to finding valuable 1991 pennies, here are the key errors and varieties you should look for. One of the most valuable errors to look for in a 1991 penny is the double die obverse, or DDO. A double die error happens when the coin is struck more than once during the minting process, causing the details on the coin to appear doubled. Rarest coins. In the case of the 1991 DDO, you'll see the most noticeable doubling on the date, and the inscriptions Liberty and I in God We Trust. If you spot this doubling, your 1991 penny could be worth far more than face value. A 1991 penny with strong double die error could sell anywhere from $50 to $500 or more, depending on the severity of the doubling and the coin's overall condition. 2. The 1991 wide AM reverse penny. Another key error to look for is the wide AM reverse. This happens when the AM let. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss any of our valuable coin tips, hunting guides, and expert advice. Rarest coins. Today, we're talking about a coin that might be sitting in your pocket or your coin jar right now, the 2014 Lincoln penny. And trust me, this is one you'll want to pay attention to, because it could be worth a lot more than just 1 cent. You might have one of these in your collection, and after watching this video, you'll know exactly what to look for to make sure you don't miss out on its potential value. $1 million rarest coins. So, let's dive right in and uncover why your 2014 Lincoln penny might be hiding a hidden treasure that could make you a nice profit. Stick with me, and by the end of this video, you'll know everything you need to look for to spot a rare 2014 penny that could be worth far more than face value. First, let's take a quick look at the history of the 2014 Lincoln penny. The 2014 penny was minted as part of the ongoing Lincoln cent series, which started in 1909. On the obverse side, you'll see the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse, the coin features the classic Lincoln Memorial design, though it's important to note that the reverse design changed in 2010 to the Union Shield design, which is what we see on the 2014 penny. Rarest coins. Nothing too extraordinary about the general design, right? But as with many coins, the value isn't always about how it looks, it's about its condition, specific errors, and certain rare varieties that make certain coins more valuable than others. And the 2014 Lincoln penny has just that, rare varieties and minting errors that collectors are willing to pay big money for. Rarest coins. Okay, let's get into the good stuff. Why could your 2014 penny be worth more than face value? Well, most 2014 pennies are, in fact, worth just 1 cent, especially if they are in average condition and don't have any notable errors. But there are several key factors that could make your 2014 Lincoln penny valuable. These include 1. Condition. High-grade, uncirculated coins are worth more than those that have been through heavy circulation. 2. Minting errors. These are the key to a penny's real value, and the 2014 penny has a few that could make it worth a lot more than just 1 cent. 3. Special varieties. Certain limited edition coins or variations are highly sought after by collectors. When it comes to valuable 2014 Lincoln pennies, you'll want to focus on errors and varieties. Let's break down the most important ones. 1. The 2014 D Double Die Obverse (DDO) penny. One of the most sought-after errors in the 2014 Lincoln penny series is the double die obverse, or DDO. A double die error occurs when a coin is struck more than once, which causes the design elements to appear doubled. In the case of the 2014 D penny, this doubling is most noticeable on the date and inscriptions like Liberty and I in God We Trust. If you find a 2014 D penny with noticeable doubling in the design, you could be sitting on a valuable coin. Depending on the strength of the doubling, a 2014 D double die obverse penny can fetch anywhere from $50 to $500 or more. The stronger and clearer the doubling, the more valuable the penny is. 2. The 2014 P struck through error penny. Another error to watch out for in the 2014 Lincoln penny is the struck through error. This occurs when debris, grease, or some foreign object gets caught in the minting process, causing a port. Welcome back to the channel, Rarest Coins. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on any of our amazing coin tips, collecting advice, and money-making secrets. Today, we're talking about a coin that might be sitting in your collection right now, or even your change jar, and you may not even realize it could be worth a lot more than face value. I'm talking about the 1972 Lincoln penny. Rarest coins, that's right, folks, a penny from 1972 could be worth a lot more than just 1 cent. In this video, I'll show you what makes this penny so special, the key errors and varieties to look for, and how much these coins can be worth if you've got one of the rarer versions. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot a valuable 1972 Lincoln penny, and you won't ever look at a penny the same way again. Before we dive into what makes the 1972 Lincoln penny special, let's quickly talk about its history. The 1972 Lincoln penny was minted as part of the ongoing series celebrating the life of President Abraham Lincoln. This series has been in circulation since 1909, and the 1972 penny featured the traditional obverse design with Lincoln's portrait, created by sculptor Victor David Brenner. On the reverse, we have the familiar Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. This was the design used for the Lincoln penny from 1959 until 2008. But while the 1972 Lincoln penny doesn't commemorate any major historical events or anniversaries, it's definitely worth keeping an eye on. Because when it comes to coins, it's not just the design that matters, it's also about errors and rare varieties that can make a coin's value skyrocket. So, why should you care about the 1972 Lincoln penny? Well, as with many coins, the value of the 1972 penny goes beyond just its face value. Most of the 1972 pennies you'll encounter are worth just 1 cent, but there are certain factors that can make your 1972 penny far more valuable. These factors include 1. Minting errors. Some 1972 pennies were struck with rare errors that can make them worth much more than just 1 cent. 2. Condition. As with any coin, the condition of the penny plays a big role in determining its value. 3. Varieties. There are certain varieties of the 1972 Lincoln penny that collectors are specifically looking for, which can make them worth a premium. Rarest coins. Now let's get to the good stuff, the errors and varieties that can make your 1972 penny worth far more than just 1 cent. This is where things get interesting, because there are a few key errors and varieties that make this penny very desirable to collectors. Let's break them down. 1. The 1972 Double Die Obverse (DDO) penny. First up is the Double Die Obverse, or DDO. This is by far one of the most famous and valuable errors in the 1972 penny series. A double die error occurs when a coin is struck more than once during the minting process, causing the design to appear doubled or distorted. In the case of the 1972 DDO, you'll notice doubling on the words Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and especially the date. The doubling is quite pronounced and can be visible with the naked eye or under magnification. Rarest coins. If you find a 1972 penny with this doubling error, it could be worth anywhere from $50 to $500 or more, depending on the strength of the doubling and the overall condition of the coin. A high-grade, well-preserved example could fetch even more. 2. The 1972 no mint mark penny.